We reached 1,000 subscribers. Oh, Lord have mercy. Come down. Come down. Okay. Hi guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Juno. Welcome to our new subscribers. There are a lot of you. So welcome. I want you to feel free. This is your platform too. I want you to feel that you have a voice here. So whatever you need to express, be it you want to talk to me privately or you want something interactive in the comment section, you can go ahead and drop a comment, or you can email me and I will actually put my email address, the Given to Give email address, in the description box. But yeah, welcome and feel free. I appreciate you guys for being here, all of you. So as a courtesy to our new subscribers, I thought I would make this video. So most of you already know me by now. You know that I only share things which I feel God has impressed me to share, and things that He's teaching me as I am going through life, because nobody really has it all together. We are all doing our best through God's grace. And yeah, so we all know what next month is. It's February. We all know what that means. It's Valentine's Day on the 14th. And I don't know where you guys are located, but where I am, we already have people putting teddy bears and flowers and all these ads about Valentine's Day and your loved ones, etc. in the stores. And I was just rolling my eyes like, this again. I was being a hater, okay, because I'm spending it by myself, but that's neither here nor there. And I'm not even going to go into the discussion of Valentine's Day being a pagan holiday. I know I already feel that a lot of you feel strongly about it, but that's not what we're discussing today. So we're just really going to talk about the issue of the heart, love. And I wanted to talk about this because of course, I've struggled with it as well. And it's only recently when God really just kind of was like, just a light bulb, flashed in my head. And I was like, oh, wow, Lord, thank you for that. Kind of puts things into perspective. So I wanted us to first look at the story of Hannah. In 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 5, the Bible says, "But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb." So we already know that this is the story of Hannah and Elkanah. He was married to two wives. The other wife, her name was Peninnah, and he married Peninnah, I think, out of force or out of pressure, because Hannah could not have children, and society that time really placed a huge importance and significance on a woman having children and a man passing on his inheritance and his, having heritage and whatnot. And unfortunately, even though Elkanah and Hannah were very devout and faithful Christians, or we can say believers or followers of God at that time, because they would go for their yearly worship and sacrifice, to make sacrifices to God and all those traditions. But year after year, Hannah still did not have any children. And as I was thinking about this whole story of Hannah and God shutting her womb, I'm gonna get a little personal. All right, allow me to get personal. It made me think of myself and how, I was sharing with a friend that there was a time whereby another friend of mine had taken time to pray for months, fasting every month. I believe I'd recorded it here as well. I'd shared in one of the videos, and we're praying that God can just show us or reveal to us who we should be with, and etc. Relationships. You know how girls are. We're all about feelings. And after months and stuff of fasting, I was just like, Lord, I don't want to focus on this. I don't want this to be the main thing that I dwell on all the time. But and I kind of almost gave up. And I was thinking about it yesterday, because I was like, Lord, help me understand why I'm not the only person, but I know of other sisters who have prayed and who have fasted for a spouse, but you haven't given a spouse to them. Help me understand what goes on. Like, why are you not answering? And God immediately took me back to this thought, or to this verse of Hannah, that God had shut up her womb. And I was like, Lord, wow, you mean to tell me that you have shut my womb, in the context of, withheld that blessing for me? It's not really an issue of me not being Christian enough, or not being good enough, or not being pretty enough. It's not all those things. It's just you're the one who's withheld it from me. And I was like, and here I was beating myself about it, thinking there's something wrong with me, and you have withheld this from me. And I was like, okay, so it doesn't make sense then for me to be angry with you, or to maybe try and distance myself and be like, I'm not going to pray about this anymore, because I'm tired, because you're the one who technically holds it in your hands. You hold my life in your hands. It's up to you basically at this point, whether I move forward, or whether you bless me with that thing. And I hope this also clarifies something for someone who may have been having issues of self-doubt, insecurities, because I was beating myself up at some point, like, what's wrong with me? Like, as someone who has also struggled in the past with issues of insecurities, it's definitely something, and who still struggles to an extent with the issue of insecurities and self-doubt and questioning myself. This definitely helped me. It was just like it's been a blessing to get that revelation from God that it's not you, like, I've just shut your womb, I've just withheld this blessing from you. And I was like, okay, thank you, Lord, for that, clarifying that. And immediately God also took my mind to James 1:17, which says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. And I was like, okay, perfect. Because when we have done everything humanly possible we can do, and nothing is happening, in those moments it's good to remember that all good things come from God. Because if we're in his hands, we're his children, and our dependence, our livelihood, we look up to him to provide, then if he's not giving it to us, that means he's withholding it for whatever reason. And just the way he did with Hannah, when he saw it fit, when it was time, when he saw that it was time for Hannah to actually receive that blessing, he opened her womb and she conceived and bore a child. And when the time is right, he will also pour out those blessings on you. And it also made me think of this one thing. This is me being vulnerable again, guys. I'm sorry. For my new subscribers, you get a lot of this from me. I'm just really transparent. So here it goes. The other thing that this helped a lot is put this thought in perspective, and that is, man will never be the source of my blessing. Stay with me. When it came to Queen Esther, when she was supposed to meet the king, in Esther chapter 2:17, prior to the verses before, it explains how there were hundreds of other women who were scheduled, who were being groomed and prepared, I believe, for 3 years to meet the king. And he was going to select out of all those women who he wanted as a wife, as his queen. And you can imagine being in the presence of all these other good-looking women and knowing that there has to be something that stands out about me in order to be noticed by the king. And I can only imagine the pressure that came with it, And I can only imagine the pressure that comes with the dating scene right now, when we have all these gorgeous women with their natural hair, with their glowing skin and all that, and you're just there, you're like, Lord, it's tough out here, it's tough. But, what are we going to do here? Because it would take a divine miracle to, especially when you look at the issue of there being a lot more women than men in the church. You start to think that, Lord, this is going to be this is going to take a divine intervention for anything to work out. So it brought me to this verse, Esther chapter 2 verse 17, which says, "And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head, and made her queen instead of Vashti." And I was like, whoa, that's all Esther needed. That was the grace and favor of God. Listen here, guys. The king did not select Esther because she was more beautiful than other women. The king selected Esther because God gave her favor with not only God himself, but with man as well. Hence why it's saying that the king loved her above all women, and that she obtained grace and favor. The king had favor towards her. And when you look at Proverbs chapter 3 verse 4, it says, "So shalt thou have favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man." And that is what accompanied Esther when she went to meet the king. As much as she had that outwardly beauty, the way other women who were beautiful, Esther took with her the grace and favor of God. That favor that God extended to the king as well to have on her. So this is just a word of encouragement. Like, if you're in the waiting season, hold on, sis. And if you are in a situation where you're like, Lord, there are all these women, and what to do, like, just remember that, grace and favor come from God. Even in a situation, this is a typical example of God giving favor to a woman to have favor with a man who she's intended to marry, because of course God had their purposes for that. Hence why when we're seeking for a spouse, we always need to ask God if it will help us heavenward as well, and if it will be a blessing to other people as well, because all our connections should be that. But so I hope this blessed somebody, and I hope this is just a reminder that no, there's nothing wrong with you. If you're not getting whatever blessing you're seeking God from, it's really nothing wrong with you. At the end of the day, all good gifts come from God. If you're not getting it yet, God is withholding it for whatever reason. And to remember that never to depend on, when it comes to the dating scene or whatever, let us not be like the people of the world that depend on how we look or how attractive we are, or our physique or whatever, in order to capture the heart of somebody. As much as those things are important, that is not all that matters. To remember that really the grace and favor of God is what can really give us favor with man too. So this also applies to the men as well. So anyway, stay encouraged and be blessed and look to God. Until next time, from Given to Give Ministries, be blessed.